Good morning, November 15th, 8:25 a.m. Waiting for that PPI data coming out at 8:30. I actually forgot to mention that yesterday. Market doesn't seem too poised about that data. Okay. We got about 5 minutes till that comes out, along with Empire Manufacturing Index, the New York Empire Manufacturing Index. Really quickly, we can go into it just to see what we're looking at here. Core PPI, we're looking at previous is zero point 0.3, the forecast is zero point 0.3. So not expecting any change month over month. PPI, that was for core PPI. PPI month over month, zero point 0.4, zero point 0.4. So if we get under this number, the market's going to push higher. If we get as expected, market should just not do anything. I mean, usually the market's waiting on these types of information, but it doesn't seem the PPI, the CPI came out so soft, so that the market's been pushing. I mean, it'd really have to be high here, hot, for the market to be, oh, but to give the market some type of jolt, because right now the market doesn't care about it. It doesn't seem. Okay. Really quickly, let's look at the watch list here before we get that news. Okay, and you can see we got Bitcoin up 3.66%. The Nasdaq's up 1.64%. That's not waiting news. We're not just balancing, right? ES up 1.03%. Okay. The Russell 0.89, the Dow 0.57. Now you notice the 30-year bonds are being bought. Okay. Dollar's down, triple headed monster, right? Down 0.42%. VIX is down almost a percent, 0.93% to 23.5. T and 10-year yields down 0.88%. So the crude is down another 1.21%, almost $1.04 a barrel. Okay. Quickly get into some news. All right. Get into some news. Go back to this while I talk about it. Fed Brainard yesterday talked about we're probably going to start pausing, slowing down. That's obviously bullish for the market, right? Now, Walmart just beat earnings this morning. Now, that's the retail sector, okay? And it gave good guidance. Hence why market's moving higher. Home Depot also beat earnings. However, that's down pre-market. But that also beat. Okay, now we got to wait this PPI data. Now, as far as China's COVID cases are growing. Okay, even though they lightened up their quarantine restrictions, cases are growing, and their economy, the retail sector is down, not good. So that they're the largest importer of crude oil, so that is not good for oil. So that's why crude's been getting hit, and OPEC lowered their demand for 2023. So that's what's going on with crude. Let's await this data. It is coming out in 1 minute. Might as well get the 60-minute futures charts ready so we can see if there's any reaction. This will be very interesting because the market doesn't seem to care about it as much right now. So we'll see. Remember, expecting zero point 0.3 on the core PPI, expecting 0.4 on the PPI month over month. News drops in 5 seconds. All right. let's see what we got here. Market's moving higher right now. Whoa, the hell is that? All right, we got point 0.2, point 0.2, point 0.2 under the forecast. Let's look at else. Maybe let's see here. And we got core. Come on, core. So New York Empire State Manufacturing came under. PPI month over month came under. Hence why the market's moving higher. Let's look at the market. Market liked it. It's breaking out. Okay. Now, big number, core PPI month over month. Forecasted 0.3, actual 0. Another good number. So the market's liking it, okay? This is just aid more to this move. Now you really want to see something. The Nasdaq has exploded. So let's look at that. Check that out. The Nasdaq has exploded higher. Nasdaq right now is up 2.66%. Right now, this line right here is the 100-day moving average. It's about to touch it right now. This is just what the market needed right now. This is another catalyst. Two numbers that went under the estimate. Wow, what a move. What a move. This is nuts. I only thought this market would move a lot if the numbers were super soft. They're not super soft, but they're soft. So here we can just take a look at the market profile. You can see exactly what they're doing here. So right here, the ES is going into a gap. Wow, this is nuts. Okay, now the Nasdaq's coming into a high volume node. ES is coming into a gap. Okay, let's look at this now. Okay, now you can see right here, this is a high volume node, hence why Nasdaq is starting to find some resistance here. Okay, this is a gap from the ES. Let me make Just want to make sure that gap, because that might be old, but I just want to make sure that level. So now we're starting to get some resistance, which is to be expected. Let's look at this hourly chart. We're right up in here. See this high volume node right here? So right here, guys. That's why I have this marked off in this orange box. We hit right into this area and we got resistance, which is to be expected. Okay, we're also piercing the 100-day moving average. Okay, now I'm gonna switch over charts. Leave you with this news here. I'm gonna go over to a different chart and let's see where we're at. I want to see the gap here. I'm going to show you guys what I'm seeing on one of my charts here. Just give me 1 second while I pull it up. That might be old. That might be old levels. I gotta really look at that. Sorry guys, give me 1 sec. I just want to make sure that this level that I'm seeing you know what, I'm gonna have to let that go for a sec, for that level. That might be an old level on my chart. I just wanted to make sure. I don't want to give you guys false information. Okay, so let's just go look where we're at. Okay, I'm gonna show you this chart. Alright, so this is where this, let's bring this down so you guys can see this here. Okay, so obviously we're breaking out, right? Let's look at our long-term chart. Okay, this is very key here. Let's look at the long-term chart. Alright, so price is at 40.45. We're right here right now. Okay, now if you look to the left, we're over all of these levels now. Now you can notice there's a big pocket of volume here. Okay, the key level here is this low volume node, which just means it's a crack. That means that there's been support and resistance at this level. So if we go over from this level, you can see there was support here, resistance here, and then farther left, I'll even bring you to it. Farther left, there's support right here. So that level is 40.96, 40.97. Okay, that's a low volume node. Now that we could either slice through that or it's going to cause resistance. So that's the level that I'm going to be looking at today to target if we get further movement. Okay, 40, call it 40.95, 40.96, 40.97, or in that area. That's a very key low volume node there. Okay, and then you got the big boy, most traded price of the year and the last year, 41.53. That's that level right here. That's that big high volume node here. That's our destination if this continues. Okay, I've mentioned that before. All right, let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is at 120.83. Guess what, guys? It's at that big node that I just spoke about earlier. Here's that big level. This month's hot pink line, you can't see the number, but it's 121.23. Okay, that's this big node jetting out here. That's where price is right now. That's what I said would slow down the market. Okay, the next price to note higher is this big node here, okay? And that is going to be 13,000, okay? 13,000. Now, before 13,000, we also have a low volume node here, this crevice at 123.01. Okay, and I'll move this to the left now so you guys can see why. So the low volume nodes, remember I talked about in the ES, low volume nodes could either get blown through or act as support and resistance. Okay, so that level right here is the low volume node. You can see on the chart resistance. Look at these candlesticks. Resistance, resistance. Okay, then support right above it, right over here. Support, support. That's why those are low volume nodes. There's not a lot of volume there. They were points where people sold and bought. Okay, so that is our little pit stop here, right here. Okay, that's a horrible drawing. So this area right there, 12,300. 12,300 is the next destination most likely. 12,300. Okay, and you can see if you look across on my crosshairs, you can see that resistance and support there. You can clearly see it on the 4-hour candles. Okay, I mean, these levels are very important. I can't stress that enough. So we got 123 is the low volume node. Okay, now in the ES, we got this low volume node of 496, 495, 497. Okay, that could get blown through or act as resistance today. If I mean, that's a big if, but 4153 is the big destination in the ES. Okay, can't stress that enough. 4153, but watch 4097 today. That's a really big level. Okay, okay, let's see here. Let's go back to ES. Okay, now that we broke out, let's see what's going on. Okay, now with yesterday we broke the highs. Okay, and then we fell back. We kind of had a liquidation break, right? Now if you notice what happened yesterday, the 5-day, or the most traded price of the week, has moved higher in the RTH session. Okay, right here, that price is 39.65. Now look what happened. That market was the low at that level. So the low was put in that level, that got defended, and now let's get rid of the supply zone. That it definitely doesn't matter anymore. Okay, now obviously price is way up here. We're gapping higher, 40.37. So now we're gapping higher off that news. Remember, we also have Walmart and Home Depot that beat earnings. It's also helping. Okay, so like I always say, what's going to happen here is the gap. So now we have yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay, very easy today. Okay, do we fill the gap or don't we? That's always the question with a gap. That tells you the strength. If we come down, if we gap and go, that's strong. If we come down, don't even go to the gap and go, that is strong. Okay. If we come down, fill the gap, and bounce off, this is all showing strength. But obviously we can gap down and start moving back into range, and that would be weakness. Okay. So that's what we're looking at today. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq is just up 2.68%. 10-year yield is down to 3.7 right now. So this is very positive for the market. Okay, price is at 120.53. Okay, 100-day moving average is right there. We have a high volume node in the orange box. Okay, we're gapping up. High was yesterday was 118.98. This is a large gap. Okay, very large. Same thing. If we stay up here and build that value and we don't move down and fill that gap, that is strong. Okay, obviously if we come down, fill the gap, it all matters if we go into range or we bounce off. But that's what you have to watch for now. Okay, really the level you want to look at here would be the midpoint of the overnight session, which is 119.36. That's a 50% of the session. That's basically like a 50% Fibonacci of this session. That's kind of like, all right, you go below that, then okay, that's a little weak, and then maybe we fill the gap, right? We stay above it, that's strong. Okay. Also, most traded price moved higher, RTH session. What are we looking at? We got 117.40. Okay. 24-hour sessions, most traded price of the week is 117.90. Okay, so those are kind of like walls you want to hold. You got walls down here, all right? You want to hold them. Now this is a pretty big move. Do we cut through all this supply and in a 100-day move? I mean, this is a pretty big move. Okay, we could just do this today. We might have got the move already. Might have missed the move. I don't know. I mean, Nasdaq's up 2.73%. So, but remember, this is the area to defend. Can't go below that. All right. Let's go over to the hourly charts now. I'll look at some of my triple head monster in a second. Let's go to the hourly charts, like I said. Let's look at the daily chart really quick at futures. All right. Yes, that's the 200-day moving average, that red. That's probably our next destination too, okay? Look at the Nasdaq hitting the 100-day moving average, right? The Russell hitting that downtrend line above the 200. All right, I'm just showing you the daily charts and futures. Okay, now we can move over. I'll give you my watch list so you guys can see that in the meantime. Now we'll just look at some levels here. Let's go over to that. Okay. So that's the NQ. Let's go over to the ES. Let's go over to that ES. Okay. So clearly we broke some levels here. Alright, so we clearly broke We broke out. Okay. There's a bunch of key levels here. I'm gonna actually do this. Okay. 4028, 4017. Okay. Needs to hold. Okay. Really, like I said, looking for 4080, but that's that 4097 that I talked about. That's the target today. 4080, 4097. Not target, but I'd say that's a point of resistance. But like I said, it can rip right through it. But I would expect to get some resistance here. Okay. And then we got the more straighter price up here, 4153. Okay, I don't know if we go that high today, but I could definitely see us going to 4080, 4079. Okay. There's not much to glean here. You just don't want it to go below 4020, 4017. Okay, we're getting some resistance here. Remember, 4097 to 4080 is our low volume node in that chart I showed before. Okay, just want to see follow through. Probably you could follow through. You got to go to here, then we can go to here. Okay, just remember, Nasdaq has hit the 100-day moving average in a large volume node. Okay, so let's go back to the Nasdaq. Okay, here's the Nasdaq. Okay, broke out of this 118.94 with this news. Now we got the large volume node here. It's causing resistance. We got the 100-day moving average causing resistance. Okay, you want to see us not go back to this 118.94. If it gets defended, this is a trend line here. See this? We could bounce off here if we did come here. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, okay? But this node is going to be hard to punch through initially, and the 100-day moving average. It's just going to be hard. We could just do this today, okay? But above us, I talked about earlier, okay? Above us, I don't know if we get through that level. That's a lot to get through. The next level is 122.60, okay? Or the 123. Remember that low volume node? You can see it here. 123. Okay, I talked about that earlier. 123. But we're right at this area that should slow the market down. Doesn't mean it can't cross it, but if we do cross it, 123. And lastly, I just gave you scenarios basically. Okay. All we care about today is this gap. Do we hold it? Does this hold? Do we gap and go? Right? Do we gap and we just hold? Now, if the market's strong and if we come off weak, initially, if we come off weak and we actually do fill the gap, with this strength and this news, I could see definitely a long off here of a 4017. Okay, that's probably the only time I might think about the long, because I don't want to chase this move higher. Okay, so that's what I would be looking for. Now today, you can see that there's these lows here with the most traded price of the week. That's really macro wise. You don't want to see the market go below that. So if we're weak and we fill the gap and we start moving down, we're gonna go here, and then either it gets defended or we break it. Okay, big gaps are hard to read. I'll be the first to tell you that. Okay. Now, as far as the Nasdaq, it's a little different scenario. Okay. Now I'm gonna read off the Nasdaq to affect the ES. Okay. This area, this large volume node with the 100-day moving average, is going to be very resistant. So that's why I'm saying we very well could just do this today in the ES, because the Nasdaq is such a large weight. The tech stocks are a large weight in the S&P, okay? So this could very well cause resistance up here. And we might need to just chill a little bit before we go higher, okay? This gap is way down there. So I would say if we do fill the gap here, that would make me pause on doing anything long unless you get a nice bounce off here. Okay. That's why I'm more seeing that, okay, if we come down here and we kind of just play around the 100-day moving average, we could just balance today. And again, if we're going to talk about any kind of bearishness, if the market filled the gap right here, started to move down, now you're going to trap all of these longs, okay, and you're going to come down to this most traded price of the week here, and then you could possibly fall if that gets that weak. I don't see that likely with this news. I don't see it likely. And with Home Depot and Walmart beating, okay. So to me, it's very difficult to go long in the Nasdaq today. The moves happened already. Unless it's a quick move down to fill the gap and then you see strength, that's the way you go back up to the overnight highs and you target up here, okay? All right, I'm going to leave you guys. We're looking at the triple head monster really quickly. All right, real quick. 10-year yield, we're down. 10-year yield is down 1.79%. It's at 3.79. 3.79. We have support here, 3.6. This is bullish. Okay. We got the dollar. Look at that dollar. The dollar right now is down 0.79%. We're down here, right? We're at 105. We have support at 104. Okay, this is positive for commodities, positive for equities, same thing, right? And lastly, the VIX. The VIX is just in a downtrend. Okay, the VIX is now down 1.39%. It's down to 23.4 right here. Key support 22.79. I'm going to set an alert there. Okay, that would be a key support level here. So that if I get notified that we break that, obviously that's positive for equities, okay? All right, I'm going to leave everybody with that. I'm off to see, I have some things I got to look at in crude oil. So I wish everybody good luck. Give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe, share with your trading friends. Stay green today. Very interesting market. This is definitely a positive catalyst. And let's see what this market does with this, okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow.